Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of the MedEqual podcast, where we talk about the representation of minorities in clinical trials. I'm your host, Kathy Thielen, and I'm co-hosting with Rian Jain. How are you doing, Rian?
I'm doing good, Kathy.
Good to hear. So, what's new with you?
Yeah, earlier today, we actually met Illinois' Assistant Majority Leader of the House of Representatives, Leader Marcus Evans. He was honestly such an inspiration. I mean, he's a cancer survivor who turned his challenge into a cause and dedicated his life to public service. He even championed the Illinois House Bill 5405. That bill requires research centers to ensure diversity in clinical trials, making Illinois the second state to mandate representation. It's really cool, honestly.
That's awesome. Leader Evans is such an inspirational figure. I was visiting Purdue University yesterday, so I unfortunately didn't get the chance to meet with him. But I hope you and Ade Gard, our Director of Community Engagement, enjoyed your visit. Without further ado, let's listen to MedEqual's Fireside Chat with leader Marcus Evans.
Convincing people that an issue they heard from high schoolers first is really a prominent issue.
So yeah.
So I guess how do you overcome that doubt and convince others that you've understood the community's needs and that this is a real issue?
Well, leadership doesn't have an age. You know, historically, we've had leaders of all ages.
Yeah.
See, some people try to make leadership a thing. It's not. Because real leaders always depend on others, right?
Yeah.
You take the experience of others. But the key is, who are the leaders? All leaders should step up. And if people don't recognize your leadership and they want to use your age, you always reject that. Be a leader. Because you know what else they'll use? They'll use your skin color. They'll use your height. They'll use your, it doesn't matter. When
Yeah.
people want to stop you, they'll come up with anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll say you're too handsome, right? It doesn't make a difference. So don't worry about folks who reject you. Only focus on leading the people, no matter how old you are. And the people follow real leaders.
Yeah. And I guess kind of as a more general question, do you have maybe advice for us as we maybe continue our mission as we kind of get more deep into it?
Sure. But people can sense when you really believe in something, right? If you're a true believer in it, make sure you are conveying that true belief and hold on to your convictions and be strong in it. Say, I believe this is going to work. And people will follow. And a lot of people want to follow and trust.
Yeah.
You know, but trust is gained over time. So stay diligent, stay diligent. Don't worry about folks who oppose you. There's always going to be someone who opposes you, right? So once you understand that, and that's human nature, right? People are skeptical, right?
Yeah.
So I think if everybody trusts you initially, that's crazy. So you should expect folks, and as part of your job is to work with them and to help them to see the light, you know, and enjoy the process, right?
Yeah.
You think about it, whether it was conversion in religion, right? Taking a non-believer and making a believer, right? You know, selling a product, right? Getting your teachers do it, right? They make you believe, right? They know that you're smart, but they help you with your belief, your family and your parents. So just but you gotta do the same thing, right? It's helping people believe, right? The moment we spent together, I know you're serious. I mean, you came all the way to the South Side, right? And you're serious about this, and you converting me. I'm believing in you, but keep that same motivation, and then you get friends, and I'm telling you, before you look up, it grows and grows.
Next, we want to talk a bit about House Bill 5405
Yeah.
that you spearheaded, the diversity in clinical trial bill.
Yep.
What was your motivation behind it?
Well, I'm a cancer survivor, right?
Yeah.
So, and I say it every time I say I'm a cancer survivor, it's like I'm a cancer survivor. Like I was diagnosed with cancer. Thousands have died. I'm still alive. So every day I feel like a new life, right?
Yeah.
And it was because someone had what I had, and the doctors were prepared, right? So I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, T-cell lymphoma. Once it was diagnosed, which was a crazy process, but there was a path, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say 50 years ago, they might not know what it was 100 years ago, right? So something had to happen. So when you go through this catastrophic situation like having cancer, you ask yourself, what led to the understanding of my diagnosis, right? What kept me alive? And what's not happening in other situations, right? We need to keep people alive, right? That is the human existence, right?
Yes.
Staying alive,
Yeah.
right? Rich, poor, Indian, black, Mexican, white, whatever. I want to stay alive, right?
Everybody does.
So
Yeah.
the basic thing, so we should put a lot of energy in keeping people alive, right? and having them have a high quality of life. So I want to stay alive and I want to have a high quality of life, right? Those are the two things. Everything else we'll figure it out, right? And so then when you ask yourself that, I'm gonna be in Springfield fighting for things to keep people alive. And when I found out they got a little bit of education in this clinical trial situation, how like people are dying because of misdiagnosed, overdiagnosed. Like they got the medicine,
Yes.
they got the ability, but because they don't connect, people are dying. That's crazy. And the fact that we can do something about this, so my motivation was there. Once you piece it together, that this little bit of bill, just focusing on clinical trials, we could save millions of people across the world. You know, and that's this is one of the best bills that I worked on, and I think you're going to build on this because remember I told you, a mandate is the first step. The second step is the execution, and they don't have the answer. So you all have to now execute the plan, and that's what I look forward to. The next generation really saying, okay, we have to do clinical trials, but maybe the way that they're doing them, well, not maybe, the way that they're doing them are not good. So now you're going to help with that.
Yeah. It's almost been a year since that bill has been passed into law. Have you seen like any improvements in clinical trials in Illinois?
Well, I don't have a lot of the data yet. What we do know is the discussion has increased, right? The awareness has increased, right?
Yeah.
Clinical trial. Everybody knows what it is. Now, the issue in many communities is clinical trials, or they were not clinical trials. Research was done on minority communities, and it was research that was predatory research, or we call it racist research, or years ago. There was a lot of things that was going on that wasn't right. The TD Institute project, just go on and on. There's been research done on minorities to target and poor white people. Right? So because of the trauma of those evil events, it's hurt clinical trials. Those were evil scientific, terrorism, right? Not a clinical trial.
Yeah.
So separating the two has been important.
Yeah.
I'm telling people, we need clinical trial to keep you alive. Those events were done by evil people, and hopefully they won't happen again. So fighting against the past is always a challenge, but I believe we can. The positivity and kind of rebranding is important.
Yeah, it's honestly, because that's one of the biggest issues we've seen as we kind of talk to people in the community. There's like just a lack of trust. Like, I mean, you see like examples like the Tuskegee trials, where like it was that almost evil scientific research, unethical entirely. And there's the lack of trust, but there's also an issue like people don't want to spend the time and like kind of go through the monetary cost of having to go to the site, and that's why like we kind of appreciate how the bill talked to us. Basically, like, was specifically focused on site locations and, like, maybe even bridging linguistic barriers as well. So, I guess, like, maybe on the ground, how do you guys, like, face those challenges? How does one, like, make those changes necessary to, like, implement the linguistic translators or other methods, and then even, like, with site locations, making it accessible to everyone?
Yeah, in this process, remember, you have to build things out, right? When things are bad, you just start from the ground, right?
Yeah.
How can we have navigators? So a lot of the hospitals are hiring community navigators, and I know they're doing an advocate out here on the South Side. Just having people who reflect the community, connect to the community, right?
Yeah.
You know how it is. I love all people, right? But if you see someone from your community, from your specific community, particularly your ethnic community, it gives you a little bit of comfort. And sometimes just seeing a man, sometimes seeing a woman, right? Whoever you can connect to. Because when it comes to your health, you're protective of that, right? We all want to survive.
Yeah.
So having someone that you can connect to is important. If I'm in a Mexican community, I want to see a Mexican navigator. If I'm in a Black community, I want to see Black navigators. If I'm in your community, Asian community, Indian community, I want to see folks that look like you. Because we can communicate with each other in a way. So navigating is important. And site location is important as well. Trusted locations where people want to talk about it.
Yeah, and I think it's something that's really undervalued in a sense. But like, I know a lot of my friends, a lot of my family members, they want to go to a doctor who's South Asian, who looks like them, because they've gone through that same shared experience, and it's just such an important thing.
It is important, yeah, and it gets the conversation going. Whatever gets people comfortable, let's just get them there. Because when things are bad, you just want to turn it around, and that's what we're now. We're in a place now where we know we're not in a good place with clinical trials.
Yeah.
And we're going to move forward, turn the page on the past. I'm ready to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
the Department of Public Health, it's expected to like produce a report on like how it can improve clinical trials in about a year. What are some things that you could expect from that report?
Well, I respect incremental growth, right? I'm a person that celebrates growth.
Yeah.
I mean, especially I'm in my 40s now. If I lose 3 pounds, I'm excited. If I run a mile, I'm excited. Right? We don't have these huge wins, right? It's incremental growth, right? So when I talk to the public health, are we getting more navigators? When you say clinical trials, are people more knowledgeable on clinical trials? How do we move from 0 to 1, right? And I believe we have, right? Just with us having these conversations with young folks like you talking about it, we move from 0 to 1. Now the next task move from 1 to 3, but long as we move the needle, and I believe the data will show that. Loyola universities on board, Northwestern, Advocate, I think our larger healthcare delivery operations in Illinois are on board. So all we have to do is keep talking about it, And now it creates opportunity for you then to take action and execute on it.
Yeah.
Smart people like yourselves, strategic people, but the conversation is critical. We have to talk about it.
Yeah, there has to be. And honestly, like with the political standpoint right now, it's a little unlikely, maybe not to get political, that like the federal government passes something on clinical trials of this scale.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think the act that we passed in Illinois goes far enough? And is there any way to maybe have use the power of our consumers in Illinois to influence national impact? So, like maybe having it be that all drugs that are used in Illinois, all medicines, have to have the representation so that researchers even outside of Illinois are incentivized to implement representation and just have that representation.
Yeah, well, I think this administration has their focuses, and people can criticize it, not, but it is what it is. We're in the Trump administration for the next 4 years. He's the president of the United States, and he's gonna execute whatever he chooses to execute. I don't know that clinical trials has to be Democrat, Republican, or a controversial situation. This is literally keeping people alive.
It shouldn't be.
So I think, we got to find some issues that can unify us even under this administration. Why wouldn't we want to have more knowledge on how to properly keep people alive and deliver health care? I think this is something they should be able to get behind. But what I can control as a state representative is talk to other state representatives. So I am the incoming president of the National Conference of State Legislators. So I'll be talking to legislators across the country. As a black legislator, we have black legislative organizations. I'll be presenting this legislation as model legislation. So it's part of my job to use what I have, right? So I think the federal administration is watching us all, right?
Yeah.
But what can we do, right? We can't dictate to them. They have a role to play. But you're doing something. You don't think they're watching you? They're watching us all, right? All people are oh man, that's interesting stuff they're doing in Illinois, right? And maybe they'll copy it. That's the hope. Right?
That's the hope.
And we'll make clinical trials a national and hopefully a worldwide larger focus. It's already changed. I can feel it because I'm hearing more clinical trials than I've ever heard before. And let's keep this moving forward.
Yeah, that's the goal. Like we're trying to also start maybe like a branch in New Jersey, branching off into other parts of the U.S. So that if these conversations are happening in Illinois, but they're also happening elsewhere on the East Coast, West Coast, and everywhere in between, like maybe if everybody's talking about this, then it'll kind of go up and have people supporting this issue.
Without question, and it's happening slowly. We just want to expedite that because lives on the line,
Yeah.
and we want to be prepared to execute, which is why I'm excited about you all because even the energy has to connect to someone that wants to execute the plan.
Yeah.
Once the demand is there, next we have to have whatever that product is.
Yeah, and kind of at MedEqual, we're trying to engage with the community, have those direct community events, but with limited funding, it's a little hard. Like all we have is like a banner, kind of like this one, a tablecloth, a table, and like our computers with a presentation on there, kind of showing people. And like kind of with that limited funding, that limited scope, it's hard to like scale up our mission. And like I guess how does one go from like meeting hundreds of people to maybe even like thousands, 10,000, to have a bigger impact in a sense?
Well, I don't know that they have a bigger impact. I think they have the impact that they have, and you have the impact that you have. Because it's all like measuring impact is so interesting because if you meet the right person, connect to the right person, you can go from where you are now to touching millions,
Yeah.
Just be ready. I believe you're going to impact millions of people.
Yeah.
Just continue to work the path that you're working. There's worry in this sometimes. It'll drive you crazy. Continue to connect to folks and build up. But you're gonna close your eyes and wake up, and you're gonna be too busy.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe, do you know of like any Illinois media houses, media groups, or any like health or equity-based initiatives that we can maybe connect with, like who we could become involved with to maybe like work together to propagate?
Well, it's about partnerships, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many of them. I mean, one thing with Illinois, we are a healthcare hub in the Midwest, the largest clearly. Think about our institutions. So definitely connect to some of the institutions. I worked on the bill with Loyola Medicine, so you want to connect to like-minded institutions who could support your mission, of course. And then, you reach out. There's so many organizations. I know some. I'll connect you with some. And just talk about your shared mission. They may be looking for you,
That's kind of what we're hoping for,
Oh, people are. Just the biggest thing is just to have that connection. Say, hey, I'm gonna call and see what's going on.
As someone at like a leadership position at a relatively young age, what do you think the role that youth will play in shaping policies and community priorities in areas of public health?
Yeah. I think that the youth leaders like yourselves will play a magnificent, spectacular role because technology is moving so fast. We always talk about it took maybe 100 years to get the television, and then it took 30, 40 years to get the flat screen TV, and then to get the thin TV, it was less years, right?
Yeah.
Every new innovation is coming quicker. AI is here. What's next, right? So you all are going to have to utilize AI in clinical trials, right? You've already already developed an app to analyze skin, right?
Mm-hmm.
You wasn't doing that 100 years ago.
Yeah.
So you all live in a world where you're going to expedite and speed up the process of what we're trying to do. We've laid the foundation of hoping, praying, and pushing for clinical trials. Now you all have to, when I say take action, come up with a better way to get to the end goal. So the young people are really all we have because we have the answers already.
Yeah.
So now that we got the need and demand, because I'm gonna get older. When I'm a senior citizen, I need y'all to take care of me. So this is a personal thing for me and everybody my age. We need you all. This is the need, and appreciate that you all are the key. But it's all about the leaders, and then as the youth leaders, you all will lead the next generation and make the world healthy, right? I just dream of a time where somebody's gonna get cancer and take a Tic Tac.
And it's just gone.
Yeah, that's where we're going, right? Somebody is gonna have catastrophic health issues, and just like, oh, let's go to Walgreens. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
There won't be a family meeting about grandmother's liver issues. Y'all say, just go to what's wrong, right? We're gonna live in that world, and you all will solve it. And I look forward to the world. As a cancer survivor, my life will turn upside down.
Yeah. So
I want you all to quickly find cures for these diseases, find better ways for us to live. It's all about the human existence. Right?
Yeah, and I feel like health should be something that's valued by everyone. It should be like something that everybody can unite on. But I feel like, especially in like recent times, everything's becoming a political issue.
Yeah.
And how does one look past the political noise, look past the partisanship, and get like everyone interested in such issues, get everyone to support such things?
Yeah. Well, building bridges is important, right? We are the same. To me, we're all citizens of the world. That's how I see life.
Yeah.
But we're all here in America, and you all are South Asian and I'm Black. How do we build bridges within our communities? How do we continue to make friends and make us all just close our eyes and be a community? That's the ultimate goal. That helps with some of the politics. And people just like politics. They like divisiveness. So we can't convert those people. We have to continue to unify folks who want to see togetherness and community. Right? Because when you say community, you may think some South Asian people. And when I say community, I may think some Black people. But I'm looking forward to when we say community in the future, it's just us. That's the ultimate goal. That fights against the politics, the way we unify. You being here today pushes against some politics. So that's a process. And the good got to continue to push against the bad.
Yeah, definitely.
And we can do it because it's more good But we all got things going on. So us taking the time to stop today to connect, I think was helpful. Because you're gonna put this out on your platform, I'm gonna put it out. You know, there's gonna be 3 individuals talking about healthcare, and we're gonna make an impact.
And it's just so important to keep doing things like this.
Oh, for sure, yeah. You're gonna get old one day too.
Yeah.
With your young back. I wish I could. I like something, and I love science fiction movies too. I love Demolition Man growing up, and like all these different science fiction movies. I just look forward to the day where, like, you know, as I'm getting older, like I need a new knee. Like let me get this all on the knee. So I mean, just think about all the things that we're gonna do in the future, right?
Yeah.
People have spine issues. People right now they don't know what to do with the spine. So it's still so much breakthroughs needed in healthcare, and you're gonna be a part of that.
I mean, I'm already starting to feel old. I'm already getting back pain.
Oh man, it's coming. Oh, it's coming, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, actually, when I was reading the bill, there was something interesting I noted because it's only able to like target research that's funded by the NIH.
Yeah.
And I think so. I'm also like an aspiring researcher. I've been doing research with the MSKCC. It's like a Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center.
Mhm.
Basically, like my research is focusing on like using maybe voice as a predictor for cancer, but like I also presented at the recent like AACR, American Association for Cancer Research conference.
Mhm.
Actually, Chicago Medicine was there, and they gave a presentation there, which was really cool.
Oh.
And I guess like I'm kind of concerned about the potential like cuts to research funding, like the NIH grant cuts and
Yes.
everything. How do you think that might impact maybe aspiring researchers, especially like undergraduates who their focus is to like learn more rather than like being able to be helpful to the lab? How do you think that might impact them, or even maybe impact the scope of like bills like the diversity in clinical trials bill?
Well, part of what you're doing is you're uplifting the conversation to fight against cuts, right?
Yeah.
Cuts in government are about things that we don't see value in, right?
Yeah.
So we see value in clinical trial. We see value in research, right?
Yeah.
So we have to continue to fight and advocate that value is appreciated, because government's always looking at cuts because your tax dollars are being utilized. So tightening the belt and using the least amount of government dollars is usually important because people want their disposable income. You don't go to work to pay the government all your money.
Yeah.
So I don't oppose cuts, but we want smart cuts.
Yeah.
So, but we have to show value. So when you oppose cuts, you can't just say we won't cut, because some people just won't cut. So I usually say, well, don't cut, and these are the reasons why we should not cut.
Mm-hmm.
Show value. So part of what you're doing is helping do that. So that's what I'm saying. You're having $1 million impact already, because just you talking about this, hopefully somebody from the NHI or the federal government would see it and say, well, maybe there's some value in sustaining these, because you are our future resource. Right?
Yeah.
So it's all about demonstrating the value. Anything that you care about, you want to advocate for its existence, you show the value.
Yeah.
Right?
You gotta show that there's a tangible something there that is really important.
Because it's the thing about it, we're spending billions of dollars and we're not getting health outcome improvements. And what are we doing, right?
Yeah.
So you're saying, let's continue to be flexible in how we allocate those dollars to get the results.
Yes.
We're going to do that. It is without question. But the key part is with how you all play a role. That's why I don't get into this age stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
Right now, you're helping to show value in NIH investment, because you're going to come up with a way to better utilize the clinical dollars.
And make it so that everybody can use the medicines that are being created from those dollars.
That's what I'm saying. So then your congressman see your video and be taking credit for it, because you're showing the value. That's the key. Taking action is how we show value.
Yeah. And maybe for the state governments like Illinois, New York, or even like California, where these like bigger universities that conduct that research is there any way for maybe even the state governments to like kind of offset that in a sense by like increasing their emphasis on clinical research?
Well, that bill was a part of it. We're sending a message that there's more that they can do. And that's why I want individuals like you engaging with them, because maybe they don't have the answer. See, people are good at doing what they do. And the older you get in life, you find what you do and you do that and you do it exceptionally well. That is not always good.
You don't have that fresh perspective.
That's what I'm saying. That's why the next generation is critical, because they've always done a clinical trial. They mail out to the community. They ask people to come to these strange places that they've never been before. And now you will do something different. You're going to figure out how to properly engage folks. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think it's something that, is needed, right?
Yeah.
Your fresh perspective. Reach out to these places. I want to reach out to Loyola Medicine, University of Chicago, and we were talking about what you're doing, and I want to help with that, to uplift your message of maybe I got a better way. You know?
That's definitely amazing.
That's all.
We have a few fun questions. Just,
Well, let's do it.
okay. What were you like in high school? Like, what activities did you like to like pursue? So,
I like to talk.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah.
and I just enjoy conversation. I learn through conversation, more Socratic method of education for me. I like debate, group think.
Yeah.
You know, I want to feel the human experience, you know. So when I was younger, you know, I like classes where I could talk political science, government classes. We can analyze why people make decisions, analyze proposed decisions.
Yeah.
So that's probably what I like. And at math, I was pretty decent at math, but once I started getting into the calculus, yeah, you have to study that
It's
stuff.
steps.
Yeah, you have to study.
yeah.
But math, but like everything under calculus, I enjoyed. But just people, you know. So I was on student council in elementary school and high school, and I was elected the local school council student representative my senior in high school.
That's cool.
So I served on our school's elected school. We have a LSC. We didn't have a big elected school board for the whole district, but we had local elected. And I was elected from my whole student body. A very tough election. So my first election was in high school.
That's cool.
You know, and I learned a lot from that election. You know, but I enjoyed politics when I liked it. And then I joined politics in the real world. You know, I met some politicians. I worked on staff. So, but yeah, when I was young, I liked the same thing: video games and sports, and you know, silly kid stuff. Yeah. But it was nothing like persuading people, convincing people, kind of moving the masses, leading the masses.
Yeah.
I really want to do that.
No, I'm in my school's debate team as the president, so I can talk here.
Yeah, you're a politician. You're a politician.
I love just talking to people and like
Yeah.
having those conversations. But,
Because this is how we connect, right? I mean, think about it, like every difference that you can imagine, right? Sexism, racism, hate, you know, fear. Conversation can just solve it all. You know, you connect to a human being, and you can solve it all. You know? And I just love there's nothing like that. Particularly people who are not just like me, I love connecting and just persuading and convincing. It's like my favorite thing.
yeah.
I don't know why it's great. I just love
Talking with them, just having those like unique conversations about like things you wouldn't have considered before. Almost that's what really gets it.
So then, when I was young, so that's what I've done. I just found I don't want to call this a job, but this is a particular service that aligns with my personality. But yeah, this is pretty much what you're getting is what you saw. How old am I now? 40. 40 years old. Yeah, when you go back, 25 years, pretty much the same guy.
If you didn't end up in politics, what else would you like to do?
It's so interesting. It's like I found something that kind of aligned with my personal interests and kind of who I am as a person. I'll be doing something to help people, maybe teaching. I think there's no greater service than education.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily want to be a teacher because all they have to deal with, but finding a person that's lost and redirecting them, so education, and maybe healthcare because the job opportunities are there. So just, I didn't grow up rich, my family was working class. So if you think about the careers in which you have high employment, engineering, and healthcare. So 9 times out of 10, I would probably been some type of engineer or teacher or healthcare, something in that space. Something where I'm touching people on multiple levels, where I can help a person that's lost, a young person, and then I can impact policy. So it would have been political if I wasn't specifically in politics.
Yeah.
Because it's the people, right? The power is the people.
And I guess
You can impact the NIH, right? You can impact Donald Trump, president. You can impact Congress, right? It's the belief, right? Because we are the power. The people are the power. They just do what the people allow.
such a want to do that. You like spend it every day doing that.
This is the belief, man. It's the belief. Whether it's the butterfly effect, how one insect, the blow of the wind, the weather, all of this, we're all this, community of the world. But the power of one, man, I just always believe in the power of one.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess kind of to that point, as we're like wrapping up, maybe what message would you have to a young person maybe a member of like a minority who's kind of like feeling that pressure, feeling like they can't really do anything, like, or feeling that their voice doesn't matter, what advice would you have for them to like almost help them step up and make a change?
Yeah, I think it's a lot that I can tell them, even utilizing words like young, minority, right? Like, are you a member of a minority? You know what I mean? What are these things, right? Like, am I black? Like, what does that mean, right? What color is my skin?
Yeah.
Right? I know someone told me that it's black, but this was just, is it black? Is it, what is it? I don't know what it is, right? Does skin color matter, right? I don't think it matters, right? That's who I am as a person, right? So one is first not subscribing to the terminology that is limited. Right? That is critical. Right? Minority, brown, black. Are you South Asian? Right? What does that even mean? Right? I don't know. I get. Are you? What are you? Right? What are? Because when I put myself in a box, then I'm saying what I am, but I believe I'm so many things. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Am I a politician? I don't think so. My name is Marcus Evans, and I think I'm many things. Right? I do real estate as well. I'm a real estate appraiser. I referee high school sports. I have one child. I'm a father. I'm in a limited amount of things, right?
Yeah.
So don't limit yourself. Be open to the full world experience, right? What do you like to eat? I like to eat what I've currently eaten, but I may be open to more. Right? I was in South Africa and I had some fish I've never had before. It was terrible, but I experienced it, right?
So trying those new things, stepping out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, and I think that's what education is about. It's making you use your brain in a way that you haven't used before. Right? So you've had a knowledge base to this point. You continue to grow. I tell a young person, don't put yourself in any box. People just always want to put us in boxes. Right? I'm from this community. I do this. This is where I'm going. No, the world is a possibility. Maybe the universe is open to me, right? Because you may make a spaceship one day to take us to a new planet, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm open to. I don't see the limit. So tell them do not live in a limit-focused mentality, right? I can do all things, right? Once you have that thought process, then things will open up for you. And then the leadership is not an age. You know, leadership is the decision that you make. You know, and your willingness to take action. Action. Leaders take action. Everybody else watches and visualizes. Steve Jobs was not the smartest first person that thought about making this thing, but he took action. Other people want to be a state representative. I take action. You know, action, right? Always be a man of action. So, and if you live limitless and you live in action, it's gonna be hard to be stopped. You know,
to always like keep taking steps forward, in a sense.
Always taking action. You know, and then stay alive, right? And this is really what we come down to. Be healthy, right? Do the best you can. Eat some vegetables. You know, stay away from drugs and alcohol and things that are clearly killing you, right? You know, be in good spaces because leaders need focus. And, you know, I don't eat as many donuts, but I love ice cream. I'm going to eat some ice cream today. But, you know, I'm not going to drink the alcohol because I don't do that or do any drugs, you know, or, you know, don't eat a whole lot of meat, right? It's clearly not good for you. Or tons of carbs, you know, just live the highest quality life you can. And just believe. You got to believe because sometimes we don't believe, and that really hampers young people. You know? Do you believe?
I do.
You believe? That's key because y'all don't believe it. Where the hell are we going, right? So y'all must believe. Young people got to believe. Because as we get older, we believe a little less. But you got to believe. And push us because and we always don't want to hear it because as you get older, you just want to, shut up, young people. And that's just now. I'm becoming the stay off my lawn guy, right? But I want young people to be rambunctious, energetic, you know. And then you got time to be old. And your back is not hurting, trust me. You ain't experienced no back pain yet.
Yeah,
in 20 years, call me. You call me in 20 years. And you running after a kid. And your back hurts. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You tell me, we wish we had your back. If this was the futuristic move, we would take your back and put it on our back. I love it. That's what I'm telling you. You're gonna do it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
Thank you. I think that's all we have. So thank you so much for meeting with us.
My pleasure.
Wow, Leader Evans was even more impressive than his bio could suggest. I personally was really inspired by him. I feel like he has such clarity of thought and drive.
Yeah, honestly, like talking to him made us feel so comfortable because it didn't feel like we were talking to a state representative. It felt like we were talking to an upperclassman or even like an older brother. I really liked how he encouraged and positioned MedEqual as almost like an execution partner of his legislative efforts to improve representation by working on the ground. Honestly, I really felt like doubling our efforts after talking to him. What do you think, Kathy?
I agree. I mean, that's a huge step for us, and I know that we're definitely feeling inspired. Personally, when I was listening, I really appreciated how he was willing to listen to everyone. He didn't care if we were teenagers. I also liked how he talked about the power of one. It's such good advice for youth, not to restrict yourself and to dare to dream. I'm so glad that you and Adi were able to meet him and get his support for our initiative. So, what's next on the agenda for MedEqual?
Yeah. Honestly, I think we should just keep pushing. Keep on creating awareness in the community and in the healthcare community by talking to physicians, and now maybe among legislators. I mean, I don't think our age should be a barrier, as he mentioned, and we should just keep going at it no matter what.
Definitely, we've learned that from a lot of the legislators we've spoke to.
Mhm.
To see the impact that we've made so far, please check out MedEqual's website at www.medequal.org to check out our upcoming informative events around the community. You can stay updated by following our Facebook and Instagram, and please help us out by sharing this podcast with your friends, family, and doctors.
All right. Thank you for listening. Until then, stay curious and stay locked in.